What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on Tuesday night's episode of Teen Mom 2. It is currently Friday that I'm filming this. I don't know if it'll be up today or tomorrow. I haven't heard from my editor today. He might still be on vacation. I don't know. But anyway, let's jump into a recap of the episode. By the way, my shirt says, damn, double homicide. I don't want that to bother you throughout the day. Like, what the hell does that say, Grace? Move, move, move. It's on my website, realitymerch.com, if you're interested in reality t-shirts. So we start off in Indiana, where Jade is avoiding responding to Sean's proposal the same way that Kail avoids vaccines, but she is getting ready to get a BBL surgery done in Miami by the same guy who gave Briana a trapezoid booty and, you know, kind of made Kail look a little bit huskier than she was before the surgeries. Jade spoke to Briana about the surgery, which is wild to me considering her results, but again, I digress. And she talked about hoping that it would make her feel more confident in her own body as she roamed around with the biggest Starbucks sugary drink that she could order. Why do people who get the BBL surgery like to think that it is a miracle cure that does not need to be maintained? Kail is the same way. Like all of these girls, and Briana as well, eat like crap, then run to plastic surgery to fix it, and then continue to eat like crap and not exercise and then just gain weight again. Like, I don't understand the logic, especially with how risky this surgery is. Which leads me to my next point, which is that I really resent the way that MTV just airs these girls getting BBL surgery as if it is some kind of casual, non-life-threatening operation. When Kail and Bri got the surgery, BBLs were killing 1 in 3,000 women who went under the knife, which is astronomical. You know, it still is the most dangerous surgery that you can get. It's much safer now. I think only 1 in 50,000 women who get the surgery pass away these days, but it's still, you know, quite dangerous nonetheless. Like, you know, the risks associated with surgery should always be discussed whenever they're brought up on the show, or just don't talk about it at all. And speaking of, I really liked the way that Farrah handled her breast augmentation surgery. What she did was she consulted with doctors and showed that. Meanwhile, these girls just kind of pop up at Dr. Miami's office looking for, you know, free surgery in exchange for promotion. And then number 2, she created a will for her daughter, knowing that she could pass away doing this operation, which was so responsible, especially considering how young she was at the time versus these girls being much older and still, you know, just casually going about the situation. So on the FaceTime call, Jade tells Briana that she's basically bringing everybody she knows to Miami to help her with the surgery, which is so weird to me that she involved her dad as well. Like, I know some girls go with their moms or like best friend or sister or whatever, but your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your daughter, your friend, and I think there's one other person as well. Like, she was bringing 6 or 7 people in the middle of a pandemic for this surgery, which is just plain wild to me. Briana warns Jade that she's going to need help even using the bathroom alone, which, you know, gave me a little bit of a flashback to the time when Javi was wiping her ass in Florida when she got her BBL done before getting kicked out by her mom, who called him a clout chaser. So Jade claims that her mom used to be a surgical nurse, but I would love to see receipts for that claim because I doubt the woman can even spell surgical nurse. Briana reassures Jade that she felt so much more confident about herself after the surgery, which is all that you can really ask for. You know, whether or not we like her results, at the end of the day, they are her results. And if they make her happy, that's all that matters. After she gets off the phone with Jade, Bri heads over to the kitchen to talk to her mom and, you know, just basically literally call Jade clueless about the surgery. And then she asks her mom to watch the kids while she goes to Miami to join Jade's football team of support that she's got waiting for her over there. Over in West Virginia, Leah and the kids all tested negative for COVID and finished their quarantine. And Corey had the kids over their birthday, you know, at his house. And then he jokingly asked them as he's driving them back to Leah if they feel older, like if their backs are hurting and stuff like that. And they go, "No, Dad, we're only 11, not 30, unlike some people." And oh my God, they are hilarious. But I'm also triggered as someone who is pushing 30 years old here. He seems to be growing a mini mullet as well, which is an interesting choice. So lecturing Leah then pulls up to the parking lot and lectures us on her kids not having a big birthday party because of COVID. Then over in Dover, Kailcum X calls her podcast co-host Lindsay and complains that Devoin never gets a chance to tell his side of the story when it relates to his drama with Briana, which is funny because this man is always telling his side of the story. Like, you know, Briana tells us that he missed gymnastics. He explains why he missed his gymnastics. Dr. Drew and Nessa are also incredibly fair to him during the reunions as well. Meanwhile, Kail gets to cry victim about her relationship with Chris. She accuses him of never seeing his kids. We now know that that's not true because he's on social media, actively talking about it all the time. He's got his podcast as well. And, she talks about him like physically abusing her, but she never talks about how she physically abuses him as well and was arrested for it. So pot calling the kettle black here. I know that it's Chris who doesn't want to film, but Kail, you're pretty one-sided yourself is what I'm trying to get at here. And that's not, me trying to deny that she was abused by Chris or anything like that. I wholly believe that she was, but I also, believe that she abused him as well. Like it's a mutually just toxic, abusive relationship. Anyway, Barr down in California lost his driver's license because he got a DUI, and Ashley says that he needs to learn the best schedule because she is not driving him everywhere. And I say good for her. It'll teach him a lesson about that. Then back down in Florida, Briana brings her friend Shirley to Miami. So now Jade's going to have like 10 people with her recovering from this surgery. And did you guys notice that Briana is drinking one of those giant sugary Starbucks drinks that all of these girls who get BBL to like cinch their bodies are always drinking? By the way, you guys, did Devoin move into Briana's family apartment? It looked exactly the same from the outside and from the inside as well in his part of the scene as we watch him teach Nova how to cook, which is really cool, by the way. Then Jade lands in Miami and her nurse lists everything that she's going to be getting done, which made me nervous for her because it seemed as though she was going to be spending a long time under anesthesia, which, the longer you spend, the more dangerous it kind of gets, She was going to be getting 360 lipo front, back. She was going to be transferring the fat into her breast. She was going to be getting chin lipo, arm lipo. I think they mentioned the leg lipo as well. It was a lot. They made it sound quite casual, but it is quite scary, all that she was going to be getting done in one single operation. Do you guys remember the era when Heidi Pratt from The Hills, she got like 10 surgeries done in one day, and like it was like the most dramatic, shocking thing ever. And now here we are just casually on Teen Mom 2 doing, literally everything but the kitchen sink, and it's, it's nothing. It's back up in West Virginia again. Lecturing Leah had the twins decorate for their Zoom birthday party, which was super cute, and they seem to have had fun, which is nice. She then decides to tackle menstruation as her next motivational speech. So she asked her sister when she started her quote unquote menstrual cycle. See, this is what is so annoying about Leah and her preaching, is that she doesn't even try to sound natural at all. Like when you're talking to your sister, do you go, hey sis, when did you start your menstrual cycle? Or do you go, do you remember when you first got your period? Like, no one speaks like that. Like she just sounds so forced and try hard. The two of them then talk about their experiences, and I was quite surprised to hear that they didn't learn about periods ahead of time in school. For us, I grew up in Catholic schools, but we learned about reproductive health in like the 4th grade, both in terms of women's bodies and men's bodies, and of course periods as well. So even if we had parents who weren't talking to us about this sort of thing at home, we knew what to expect ahead of time. While I do think it's nice that she wants to talk to her kids about this, I feel bad for them that this conversation needs to be aired on television. In my opinion, the scene with Victoria was good enough, but of course they have to take it one step further, as usual, with all these kids. Briana then arrives in Miami and she sits down with a new extra large soda drink to talk to Jade about the surgery. And Jade talks about the proposal that she got from Sean, and she complains about the ring not fitting. She's like, how am I going to marry someone who doesn't even know my ring size? Jade was really, really animated. I didn't know of her to have so much personality until this scene with Briana. You never really see her joke around or light up or anything like that. But here she seemed like a really lively and bubbly person, which is quite interesting to me. So Devoin arrives in Atlanta for Kail's podcast, and Kail really glowed up these past few episodes. I think the last episode I was talking about how nice she looked when she was taking the family photos with the kids, but here she looked very nice as well. I think she ditched a super harsh makeup artist she had who was doing like the heavy contour, the block brows, the heavy blush and everything like that, mismatching. Like now she's getting like more natural and soft glam, and it looks really good on her. So they basically just show the podcast that we already listened to months ago, and I recapped it if you're interested in it. I've got a playlist for Kail's podcast, so just take a look over there and check that out. And then in West Virginia, again, Leah talks to her girls about periods, and I'm happy for them that they've got a mom who talks to them about this sort of thing, but I feel bad for them that it is on television again, and I'm not interested in watching it. So so I skipped forward. Back in California, Bar goes to court and finds that he has to keep his ankle monitor on for another 2 weeks. Then we're in Florida again, where I'm surprised that Jade claimed her procedure would only be 2 to 3 hours long. To me, it sounded like a 4 to 6 hour procedure with everything that she was going to have done. But, again, I digress. Sean then suggests that her mom go and pick up her prescription because he'll be busy transporting her around, which was weird to me because, listen, she's going to be in surgery for 2 to 3 hours. Why could he not have filled out that prescription within that amount of time? It's strange to me. When I did surgery, I woke up and my prescription was already given to me. They were like, okay, this is what you're going to need. But honestly, I wasn't even really on painkillers. I was on just basic ibuprofen type stuff. It was a very I don't know, just waking up feeling like pressure in your nose and in your rib. And that's about it. Feeling like you had a hardcore flu for a couple of days. And that's about it. But again, these are two very different things. What she's doing, the BBL, is really, really not even just BBL, but chin lipo, arm lipo, all of that, I imagine is incredibly painful. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what went down on this week's episode of Teen Mom 2. But as usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.